Welcome to English Speaking Corner. This is your quiet space to practice, to listen, and to build the voice you have always wanted in English. Today, we are going to change the way you speak. We are going to move away from the robot style of speaking, where every sentence feels separate and choppy, and we are going to find your flow. I am Sarah, and I am here to guide you through this session.
And I am Mark. I am here to help you practice, to be your partner in this conversation, and to show you exactly how these changes sound in real life. We are so glad you have joined us. Take a moment to get comfortable. If you have headphones, put them on. Close the door if you can. This next session is just for you and your English progress.
Today, we are talking about glue. Imagine a pile of bricks on the ground. They are strong, solid bricks. But if you just stack them up without anything in between, the wall will be unstable. It might fall down. It will look full of gaps. In English, your vocabulary words are the bricks. You have learned many words. You know the grammar. But if you do not have the mortar, the glue to hold them together, your speech will sound like that pile of loose bricks. It will sound choppy.
Exactly, Sarah. I hear this so often with students. They say things like, I like coffee. It is expensive. I buy it anyway. The grammar is perfect. The vocabulary is correct. But it sounds mechanical. It lacks the human touch. It lacks flow.
Right. So today, we are going to give you that glue. We call them connectors. These are small phrases that native speakers use constantly. We use them to join ideas, to buy time when we are thinking, and to soften our opinions. When you use them, you instantly sound more fluent, even if you do not learn a single new complex vocabulary word. We are going to master 5 specific connectors today. We will focus on the phrases, speaking of, actually, you know, and what I mean is. These are the secrets to sounding natural. We will practice them slowly so you can shadow us. Remember, shadowing means you listen to what we say and then you repeat it out loud during the pauses. Do not just listen in your head. You must move your mouth. You must use your voice. That is how confidence is built. Before we start, if you want to make sure you never miss a lesson like this, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep creating these calm study sessions for you. Now, let's begin with our first piece of glue. This is the phrase, speaking of.
Speaking of is a wonderful tool. We use it when we want to change the topic of conversation, but we want to do it smoothly. We use it to build a bridge from what the other person just said to what we want to talk about. Imagine you were talking about the weather, and suddenly you remember a story about your holiday. You cannot just switch topics abruptly. That feels rude or confusing. You need a bridge.
Let's listen to the robot version first. Imagine we are talking about the rain. I say to Mark, it is raining a lot today. And then Mark says, I went to London last year.
That felt strange, didn't it? It felt like 2 different conversations. There was no connection. It is raining. I went to London. The listener is confused. Why are you telling me this?
Now, let's try it with the glue. Let's use speaking of. I say to Mark, it is raining a lot today.
Speaking of rain, I went to London last year, and it rained every single day.
Did you hear the difference? It was so smooth. Mark used the word rain from my sentence to jump to his story about London. He connected the 2 ideas using speaking of rain. It tells the listener, I heard what you said, and it reminds me of this other thing. Let's practice this. I want you to shadow Mark. We will do it slowly. Listen and then speak in the silence.
Speaking of rain.
Now try the whole sentence. Speaking of rain, I went to London last year. Good. Let's try another example. Imagine we are talking about food. I say to Mark, I really love having pizza on Friday nights. Now, Mark wants to talk about a new Italian restaurant. He can use the word pizza as the bridge. Speaking of pizza, have you tried that new place downtown? Notice how natural that sounds. It flows. Now it's your turn. I will say a sentence. I want you to use the phrase speaking of to change the topic. I will say, I love watching movies on the weekend. You want to talk about the new actor in a popular film. So you can say, speaking of movies, do you like that new actor? Let's try it. I love watching movies on the weekend. Speaking of movies, do you like that new actor? Excellent. You can use this with anything. If someone talks about their job, you can say, speaking of jobs, how is your project going? If someone talks about being tired, you can say, Speaking of tired, did you sleep well last night? It's the perfect way to keep a conversation moving without it stopping. Let's move to our second connector. This one is very important for being polite. It is the word actually, or sometimes, to be honest.
This is the softener. In many cultures, it is okay to be direct. You might say, "No, I disagree," or "That is wrong." But in English, especially in the UK and the US, being that direct can sometimes sound a little bit aggressive or rude. We use actually or to be honest to soften the blow when we are correcting someone or giving a negative opinion. Let's look at the robot version. Sarah asks me, "Do you like this song?" And I say, "I hate it." Ouch, that hurts a little bit. It shuts down the conversation. I feel bad for asking. It is too sharp. Now let's use the glue. I ask, "Do you like this song?" Actually, it's not really my style. That feels so much better. The word actually signals to me that you are going to say something different from what I expect, but you are doing it gently. It acts like a cushion. You can also use to be honest. To be honest, I prefer jazz music. This is a great phrase to practice because we often have to say no or disagree. Let's practice shadowing these softeners. I want you to focus on your tone of voice. Keep it gentle. Listen and repeat. Actually, I don't think so. To be honest, I am a little bit tired. Actually, I have a different idea. Very good. Let's try a specific scenario. Imagine I invite you to a party tonight, but you cannot go. You have to work. If you just say, "I can't go, I have to work," it sounds a bit cold. Try to start with actually. Actually, I can't make it tonight. I have to work. Do you feel how that changes the energy? It makes you sound friendly, even though you are saying no. Let's try one more. Imagine someone asks if you have seen a famous movie that everyone loves, but you haven't seen it. Don't just say no. Use the glue. Actually, I haven't seen it yet. Perfect. This small word makes you sound like a native speaker immediately, because native speakers are constantly softening their language. We rarely say a direct no without a connector. Now, let's talk about the third piece of glue. This is for when your brain freezes. It happens to everyone. You are speaking and suddenly the word is gone. You are searching for the vocabulary. The silence gets long. You start to panic. This is where we use the time buyer. The phrases are "you know" or "I mean." These are often called filler words. Some teachers tell you not to use them. But if you listen to real conversations, like the ones in podcasts or movies, people use them all the time. They are natural. They tell the listener, "I am still talking, I am just thinking. Please wait for me." Here is the robot version of thinking. I ask Mark, "What did you do this weekend?" "I went to the park and I ate a sandwich." The silence between the words creates tension. I am wondering if Mark has finished speaking or if he has forgotten how to speak. It feels awkward. Now let's try it with the time buyer. I went to the big park near the city center, and I just had a sandwich. The words fill the silence. They keep the rhythm going. It feels like a flow, even though Mark was searching for the name of the park. It invites the listener to understand you. It creates a connection. Let's practice this. I want you to pretend you are searching for a word. We will use the sentence, "It was a really beautiful day." But imagine you are looking for the word beautiful. Listen to how I say it. It was a really beautiful day. Now you try. It was a really beautiful day. Good. Don't be afraid to stretch the sound a little bit. It buys you 1 or 2 seconds to find the word beautiful. Let's try another one. Use I mean. This is often used when you want to clarify something or you are restarting a sentence. I was really busy. I had so much work to do. You try it. I was really busy. I had so much work to do. Use these when you feel stuck. Instead of freezing and looking frightened, just say, or I mean. It relaxes your face. It relaxes your listener. And it gives your brain that precious extra second to find the English word you need. Our fourth connector is for when you feel like you have explained something badly. This happens often at the A2 or B1 level. You say a sentence and you realize, wait, that is not exactly what I wanted to say. Or maybe the other person looks confused. You need to repair the sentence. The perfect glue for this is what I mean is, this is a power phrase. It gives you a second chance. It tells the listener, ignore my last sentence, I am going to say it better now. Let's look at an example. Imagine Mark is talking about his job. He says, my job is hard. But that is too simple. He wants to explain that it is hard because it is busy, not because it is difficult, so he fixes it. My job is hard. What I mean is, I have a lot of tasks to do every day. See how that works? He didn't have to apologize. He didn't have to say, oh, sorry, my English is bad. He just used the connector to pivot to a better explanation. It sounds confident. It sounds like he is in control of his language.
Let's practice this structure. I will give you a simple sentence and then we will add the better explanation using what I mean is. The sentence is, the food was interesting. Now let's clarify that. The food was interesting. What I mean is, it was very spicy. Now you do it. Speak out loud. The food was interesting. What I mean is, it was very spicy. Let's try one more. Imagine you say, I don't like travel, but that's not true. You love travel, you just hate flying. So let's fix it. I don't like travel. What I mean is, I hate airplanes. Your turn. I don't like travel. What I mean is, I hate airplanes. This phrase, what I mean is your safety net. It allows you to speak imperfectly because you know you can always fix it in the next sentence. It takes the pressure off. You don't have to be perfect the first time. You just have to be willing to clarify. Now we have our 4 main types of glue. We have speaking of for changing topics. We have actually for softening opinions. We have you know for buying time. And we have what I mean is for clarifying. Now we are going to do something a little different. We are going to do a flow simulation. This is a longer practice. I am going to have a conversation with you. I will speak and then I will leave a quiet space for you to answer. But here is the challenge. I want you to start your answer with a specific connector. I will tell you which one to use on the screen of your mind. Just listen to my prompt. Imagine we are meeting for coffee. We are just friends catching up. I will start. I am going to ask you about your weekend. I want you to answer, but pretend you are thinking. Use you know to buy some time before you tell me it was relaxing. So hi, long time no see. How was your weekend? It was, very relaxing. That sounds nice. I was actually incredibly busy. I had to work all Saturday. Now, I want you to change the topic to work. Use speaking of. Ask me about my new project. Speaking of work, how is your new project? Oh, it is going well, thanks for asking. It's just a lot of hours. To be honest, I am a bit tired of it. Now, I want you to disagree with me politely. Tell me that you think hard work is good. Use actually. Actually, I think hard work is good. I guess you are right. It pays off in the end. It's just, sometimes I want to quit. Now clarify that. Tell me you don't really want to quit. You just need a break. Use what I mean is. What I mean is, I just need a break. Exactly. We all need a break sometimes. Well done. That was a real conversation. You used 4 different connectors in less than 2 minutes. You navigated topic changes, disagreements, and clarifications. That is what fluency feels like. It is not about knowing every word in the dictionary. It is about navigating the flow of interaction. Let's go deeper into the nuance of actually. I want to spend a moment here because this is often the hardest one for students to use naturally. We often feel that if we use a word like actually, we are being argumentative. But in English, it is often used just to add surprising information. It makes you sound like an interesting storyteller. For example, if I ask, is it cold outside? You could say, no. But if you say, actually, it is really warm, it sounds like a pleasant surprise. It invites me to be interested. Let's practice just this positive use of actually. I will ask you a question. I want you to give me a surprising positive answer, starting with actually. Question, is English grammar boring? Answer, actually, I find it quite interesting. Try that now. Actually, I find it quite interesting. Question, was the traffic bad this morning? Answer, actually, the roads were clear. Try it. Actually, the roads were clear. Question, is that restaurant expensive? Actually, it is very cheap. Try it. Actually, it is very cheap. Do you hear how positive that sounds? You are sharing good news. You are correcting my assumption that the restaurant is expensive, but you're doing it with a smile in your voice. That is the power of connectors. They carry emotion. They carry attitude. Now, let's look at speaking of again. This phrase is very powerful because it puts you in control of the conversation. Often, when we are learning a language, we feel passive. We just answer questions. Where are you from? What do you do? It feels like an interview. But when you use speaking of, you can steer the boat. You can decide where the conversation goes. If I am boring you with talk about the weather, you can take control. You can wait for me to say the word cold, and you can say, speaking of cold, I am planning a ski trip. Suddenly, we are talking about your ski trip. You are the captain now. Let's practice taking control. I am going to ramble on about something boring. I want you to interrupt me gently during the pause, using speaking of to switch to something you like. I am going to talk about my commute. I take the bus and then I take the train, and the tickets are so expensive these days. Speaking of expensive, have you seen the prices of?
See? You took the word expensive and you moved us to a new topic. Maybe you talked about house prices or food prices. It doesn't matter. You took the turn. That is confidence. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have built a wall with strong mortar. We have moved from the robot style, I go, I eat, I sleep, to the fluid style. Let's review our 4 pillars of fluency one last time. First, we have the bridge. Speaking of, use this to change lanes without crashing the car. Second, we have the softener. Actually, or to be honest. Use this to disagree politely or share surprising news. Third, we have the time buyer. You know, or I mean. Use this to breathe, to think, and to keep the rhythm going while you search for words. Fourth, we have the clarifier. What I mean is, use this to fix your mistakes and explain yourself better. I have a challenge for you. It is a simple one. For the next 24 hours, try to use just one of these connectors. You don't have to use all of them. Just pick one. Maybe today is your actually day. Try to use actually 3 times in conversation. Or, if you don't have anyone to speak English with today, talk to yourself. Narrate your life. Say to yourself, I want coffee. Actually, I think I will have tea. Say to yourself, I need to clean the house. Speaking of cleaning, where is the broom? Talking to yourself is one of the best ways to practice because there is no pressure. You can stumble, you can pause, and nobody will judge you. You can practice the rhythm of, you know, over and over again until it feels natural in your mouth. Remember, fluency is a physical habit. It is muscle memory. Your mouth needs to get used to the shape of these phrases. Speaking of needs to roll off your tongue as one sound, not 2. It's not speaking of. It's speaking of. Speaking of. Try that. Speaking of. Same with what I mean is. It's not 4 words. It's one block of sound. What I mean is. What I mean is. Try saying it fast. What I mean is. Excellent. That is how native speakers produce language. We don't build sentences word by word. We build them block by block. And today, you have added 4 very important blocks to your collection. If you found this session helpful, think about who else might need this. Maybe you have a friend who is also learning English. Share this experience with them. It is always easier to learn with a partner. You can practice your connectors on each other. You can make a game of it. See who can use speaking of the most times in a 5-minute chat. And do not forget to treat this channel as your library. You can come back to this session anytime you feel your English getting rusty or robotic. Listen to it while you wash the dishes or walk the dog. Let the pattern sink into your subconscious. We are building confidence here, one phrase at a time. It is not a race, it is a journey, and you are doing great. Before we go, let's do one final calm repetition. Close your eyes if you can. Take a deep breath. Speaking of. Actually. You know. What I mean is. Let those words settle in your mind. You are ready to use them. You are ready to speak with flow. Thank you so much for studying with us today in the English Speaking Corner. We look forward to hearing your smoother, more confident voice in the next lesson. Until then, keep practicing, keep listening, and don't be afraid to use the glue. Goodbye for now. Goodbye and happy speaking.